Hi, everybody. Welcome to Magic Universe. And it's time for another message from Universe. Today, they showed me the color for the reading like really fast. They said it's a red, it's a happy red. So that's exciting. And I'm reading you from a sea blue with diamonds. So it's something like this, like a deep ocean blue with diamonds. All right, so we're going to start with the Psychic Tarot Oracle deck. I feel excited. Let's see what comes out. A happy red. Okay. Oh, okay. Rejoice in celebration. That's also the Three of Cups. Yeah. I feel like somebody might be winning something. There's you see the three cups, but then there's also like a big cup in the background, like a trophy or something, an award or something like that. Wow. Truth, which is also the Judgment card. And positive movement forward. There's your red right there. This is also the Eight of Pentacles. Is that right? Yeah, Pentacles. Which talks about work. The Usually when I look at this card, in traditional tarot, when you talk about positive movement forward, a lot of times I think of Eight of Wands because it shows like a bunch of sticks like moving really fast, like eight sticks moving really fast in the same direction. So it's like fast moving energy. But with this deck, the red border is Pentacles and the green borders is Cups, and then the black border is Major Arcana. And so this it doesn't always match exactly, but it's based on traditional tarot. But I'm kind of seeing this does have something to do with work, because the Eight of Pentacles is usually about work. But so there's some kind of celebration in regards to an area of work or career, positive movement forward. Some of you might be discovering like the truth of what's your real direction. What do you really want to do in your career, in life? You might be discovering some kind of like maybe you try something and you're like, wow, I really like this and I want to continue in this direction further. And some of you might be coming to a certain level of like maybe like a graduation or something like that of some sort, where you get to a certain level of progress in your work, and so there's a celebration, not really an ending, but just like a certain point where you're like, oh, I'm done with this phase or like this part of it, and so you're celebrating it and you're continuing to move forward in that direction. I'm seeing a lot of joy in this truth card, in this kind of discovery within of something that's true within you. You're like, okay, my heart resonates with this, like my core resonates with this, and it feels really, really good. And so the celebration could be with other people, but it could be just like within yourself, You're like you're understanding that, oh wow, I just discovered a truth about myself. And so there's a rejoicing within about that. That's really, really good. And this is really positive. You see the sun in the background. That's like happiness. You're moving forward in a direction that you really want to go in. Oh, interesting. We were talking about I'm reading you from a sea blue. There's the water right there. It's that color. That's so interesting. That's so interesting. Oh my goodness. Sea blue, right? Sea blue with diamonds, and there's like the stars right there. I think that's what I was seeing. The diamonds are like the stars in the sky. That's so cool. That's so cool. All right. Oh, interesting. Okay, well, let's see what this is. So, I opened the box. I took all the cards out, or I thought, and there was a card that's left behind. So, usually that means something too. So, let's take a look, see what card this is. Wow. Harmony. So, this is also the Lover's card in the Major Arcana. So, harmony could talk about like harmony between two people, right? Two physical humans, or it could talk about harmony between like you and your higher self, like the truth that you could be discovering, right? Because in order to discover any truth about yourself, you have to be in connection and resonance with your spirit, with your higher self. And we were talking about feeling it in the heart, right? Feeling it in your core. I'm also seeing in the scale that the sky is standing on, there's a balance between you and your higher self. There's a connection. Something really good is happening for you. Wow. That's amazing. For some of you, you might not discover it. Like you might not know what it is right now. Like as you're watching this, you're like, "Oh, what is this talking about?" There's there's a period of time that's coming where you're going to feel this thing in your heart, this connection in your heart, and some truth is going to be revealed either within you, or you're going to find it, like you're going to be doing something and you're going to be like, oh wow, it's this, but you're going to feel it within yourself, and you're going to rejoice in it and move forward in that direction. For some of you, I'm seeing marriage in the flowers right there, right up there. So this, for some of you, this harmony might be with another physical human, and I'm seeing, I mean, you might not be getting married today, but like I said, at some point you're gonna feel the resonance, and it's gonna come up, it's gonna show up in your future. But oh wow, this is really nice. That is a very happy red. In certain cultures, the red color is about that kind of celebration, like a wedding celebration, or like a New Year's celebration, or like a birthday celebration. But that red is like a really lucky color in some cultures. Okay. This is so exciting. So exciting. What's next? What's next? Okay. Wisdom of the Oracle. So when I read, like not for video, when I'm reading like for other people, or for like individual readings, or like for myself, I don't pre-pick out the decks. I only do it for video because it's just easier. It goes faster. But today, universe wanted to just go with the flow and pick the decks as we go along. So there's something different. There's something different about today's reading. Just so maybe for you, it's about like doing things in a different way, really listening to your intuition. And say if you have a certain routine, right? And you wake up in the morning at this time, you eat this for breakfast, and you go to work at this time, or you go to school, whatever it is that you do during the day, and you follow that routine. Maybe this talks about listening instead of following that routine to a T, like listening to your heart, right? Connecting with your spirit. And is your spirit calling you to leave the house at a different time, or maybe stop by a store to get something, or maybe take a different route to go to wherever you're going? Like, there's something about going with the flow, going with what's calling to you. Is there something that's different that might be calling to you to try a different way of doing things? And yeah, I feel like that's coming through as well. And it's going to lead you to either just like a different experience of life, just to, how when you try something new, or you see something that you've always seen, but you see it in a new way, there's a fresh energy that comes in, and there's like fresh ideas that come in. So say if you always get in your car, or you go for a run and you pop in music or like a podcast, or you listen to something, maybe today or maybe this week you don't listen to anything, and you just let yourself be with yourself instead of needing that mind escape, like something else to distract you from whatever it is that you're doing. Maybe you quiet down and you allow yourself to go on your run or go on your drive, just with your own mind, right? Where you're listening to what's in your heart, and you can hear your truths, you know? Yeah, do something different. We're talking about go with the flow, serendipity. So this is about really good luck for leaf clover. And where is this flow taking you? There's an energy that wants you to follow it, right? The movement. There's a connection that's happening, and just let this take you. It's bigger than you, this energy. Let this energy connect with this energy and let it take you where it goes. The serendipitous things that happen are, there really are no coincidences in life. When you are hooked up to an energy, and the energy expresses in a certain way, shows you certain things as you move through life, everything that you come upon is because it's that energy that's expressing itself. So you get to choose, right? You get to choose, you get to pick an energy. Say you want to pick the energy of joy. So you wake up in the morning, you're like, you know what, today I'm going to allow the universe to show me joy in all its ways. So you resonate with that. You really, really feel it in your heart, let it become your truth. And you feel that joy within you, and then you allow the joy to take you, down this path, turn right on this corner, that kind of a thing. Or look over here. When I drive, I do a lot of driving. When I drive, a lot of times I'm going through the city streets and stuff like that. And I swear, I don't memorize where these places are, but like every single time there's a psychic store. You know how like people have storefronts and they have the psychic sign with the neon and all, all of that. Every single time it feels like to me that I'm on some street where there's some psychic sign, the fortune teller, that kind of thing that's up. I'm sitting there, I'm not looking for it, but my spirit will turn my eyes or like turn my head to look in that direction. If I'm at a stoplight, I'll just like, casually, thinking to myself or like listening to music or whatever. And then all of a sudden I'll turn my head and I'll be like, oh, there's another psychic sign. And I'll see all of them like, because I resonate with that, right? and so I'm always really happy to see them. I'm like, oh, hey, there's a fellow psychic right there. And so it's kind of like that. It's like whatever energy that you're on, that you're tuned into through serendipity, when you're going about your life, when you're going about, in the world, your spirit will turn your head, like there'll be something that will make you latch onto that, and you'll be able to see it in your reality. You get to pick what energy you want, but here I'm seeing joy, I'm seeing happiness, there's some kind of celebration. Like allow your spirit to guide you through life, through the world, and meet all of these joyous moments that are here for you. And I feel like, yeah, this is a really good time. This is a really, really good time for you right now. This green, this heart thing that we were talking about, whatever's in your heart, you're being led to it. This green, you're being led to it. These are two different decks, but they're like, you see, it's the exact same green. Amazing, you guys. Amazing, amazing. All right, what do we have next? Tarot of Mystical Moments. Allow those coincidences to have meaning for you, because they do. I was driving the other day, just like a few days ago. Oh no, yeah, I think it was last week. It was last weekend. I'm driving on like a 3-lane street, and so to the right of me there were these two people on scooters, right? And their two scooters were driving together, and on the same lane, and I'm kind of next to them and behind them, so they're like right here and I'm like right here. But they were like, they're driving together, and then but they were moving kind of slow, and it's like wherever I needed to go, they were just kind of like in the way. I mean, it kind of felt like that, and I'm like, okay, you know what, you guys, can you either move faster or move out of the way or something? It's like you're kind of like in my way, right? But it's like everywhere I went, they were kind of sort of just like right in front of me. and and so like if I switched lanes, they were like there. And so I was like, okay, and so I noticed them, like I could not notice them because they were going really slow. And so then I passed them up, and then like I forgot about them, right? And then, but that energy stuck with me, must have, because later on in the day, I saw two motorcycle cops on the freeway, and they were driving exactly the same way as those two scooters were. And when I saw the two motorcycle cops, I was like, oh, I totally get it now. That was a message to me from the universe, right? That it was so simple. It's like my whatever I'm thinking about, whatever I'm observing, and that kind of like, I'm observing it long enough for me to resonate with it, to remember it, right? That it's going to show up again. I'm manifesting whatever it is that I'm thinking about, whatever it is that I'm observing, and it's showing up like really, really fast. And it was the exact same thing, like those two scooters driving together, and then later on in the day I saw the two motorcycle cops driving together. And what does it mean, right? It doesn't really mean anything that these vehicles or these people want to like ride together with their friend or with their coworker. But what it meant to me was universe was telling me you're manifesting things really, really fast. So pay attention to what you're observing. Pay attention to what you're like watching on TV, what you're listening to on podcasts, what you're listening to, just around in the world. What are you observant of? What are you thinking about? You know, because those things are showing up in your reality really fast. And ever since I got that message, I've been paying more attention, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's true. It's like whatever it is that I'm watching, if I'm watching a video, if I'm listening to something, it's like that energy is showing up in my reality like really, really fast. So yeah, pay attention to what your flow is flowing you to. So if you want good stuff and you're thinking and feeling good stuff is going to show up. Oh, the sun's coming out. Right when I was saying that. Good stuff. Okay. Judgment. Judgment. A calling. This is usually Archangel Gabriel that's calling. King of Wands. So talks about passion. I did a community post a couple of days ago about life purpose. And sometimes this calling talks about life purpose, like what you're being called to. And especially when it's coming out with the King of Wands, is like you really knowing what you're passionate about. Like what are you on fire about? What are you, being called to? And then there's this really fast moving energy that's moving you in that direction, right? There's the diamonds again, the sparkles. So I feel like for a lot of people who are watching this is about your thing, whatever it is that you're passionate about, what you feel your purpose in life. You're going to discover what it is, or maybe you already know what it is. And there's like a forward movement. Something's working really well for you in the area of career and work and job and calling, your mission, your goals. There's a really good energy that's moving you in that direction. Listen to it. Really, really listen to it. So if you don't yet know what it is, it's coming. That discovery, that revelation of what it is, that's in your heart, that's calling you in that direction, it's coming. You're going to recognize it. Okay, anything else? Oh, they're calling me to the Hello Kitty deck. It's pretty straightforward, this message. It's just been talking about that, about a discovery within yourself, and moving in that direction. You being on fire about it, knowing what it is, feeling the call, harmony. Rejoicing in it. There's that red. Okay. So Tower talks about a big change, right? That you know what? It is so funny because like This is like very, very straightforward. And I was almost kind of waiting for something like this to show up, something that's like an energy, because it's like, why does universe need to be so adamant that it's like, yes, it's a good energy? It's almost like you need to be talked into it. For some of you, like it's like you don't yet know your truth, or maybe you know your truth inside you, but it's kind of like not working out like with this real happy, straightforward kind of way, and there's some energy that I felt like that's kind of either in the way of it, or like you're holding back from it, or maybe for some of you, like you don't yet know what your truth is, so that's why I keep saying it's coming, right? It's kind of like you need to be talked into it. This is it. There's If you're in a situation where this bright, really nice flowy energy isn't happening yet, and you need to be called, you need to listen to the call. Maybe you're being distracted by other noises in your life, right? You need to quiet down and hear the call. This is like the big change. Like whatever has been going on, it's going to become, this is going to be like completely different for you. Okay, for those of you where your life is not yet like this, or like not looking like this yet, there's going to be a big change that's going to happen. So what could that look like, right? And so these are just examples. I'm not saying this is going to happen to you exactly this way. But for those of you where your life is not looking all happy, peppy, like in the flow yet, there's going to be some huge change that comes. So that could look like, for example, if you're in a job that you don't like, maybe you get fired, or maybe you leave the job, or maybe something happens where it's like, this job that I don't like, that doesn't take me to where I'm wanting to go in my heart, somehow it doesn't work out, right? And now I'm kind of like open to discover who I really am. So that happens for a lot of people, where they're in something that because out of routine, or out of like it's just comfortable, or out of like it's just always been what I'm doing, and it's easier to stay here than to stop that and go on a completely different path and follow my passion, right? For some of you, it might be something like that, where it's a complete 180, and you have to go in another direction, like you're forced to, because you're not doing it yourself. Okay, you're not hearing the call, or like maybe you're afraid to follow your call, and so the universe has to change it for you. This reminds me of I did a reading for someone a long time ago, where this was a teacher, a psychic teacher, and he had been in a routine. He had been in a routine for a long time. Like he does the same thing I don't know if he does the same thing every day, but I know for a fact that he did the same thing every week, because other people were saying that he had been running this meditation thing that we did at that institute, like for like 20 years. He'd been doing the same thing, that same thing for 20 years. And so we did an energy check on each other. And so I, in our practice, like even if you're a student, you get to read the teacher, and then the teacher reads the students, kind of like that, you exchange, right? And so he wasn't directly my teacher. He just ran that meditation hour, and I was joining in. But anyway, too many details. But anyway, what happened was, like, I read him, and he asked a question, like why did this one thing happen? And I said, and I looked at his energy, and I was like, your spirit wants you to change your routine, and they know you're not going to do it, so they did this thing so that you would be forced to do it. And it was like a real simple thing, like something was happening in his house, and he asked why that thing was happening in his house, and it forced him to rearrange his furniture. And And I was like, yeah, so that happened because your spirit wants you to do something different. And like furniture arrangement is like feng shui, right? Is that art of organizing things in the room so that there's a flow of energy, right? So his spirit was forcing him to change something in his house so that his energy flow would be different, so his routine would be different, so that just so he can see his himself and experience life in a slightly different way. It wasn't even like a huge change, but just so he can do something different, right? And so once he heard that, like I read some other stuff too, but once he heard that it was about changing his routine, then he was like, oh. And I don't remember if I saw him again after that, but maybe I saw him like maybe one or two more times after that, but he disappeared. He changed his life. He went off to, I don't know if he changed his schedule at the institute and maybe went ran his meditation thing at a different time on a different day or something like that, or if he just like left to the institute and decided to do something else with his life. But he decided to make a big change. So sometimes, like it'll feel like nature is forcing you to change something, or like just life itself, life situations will do something that'll force you to make a change. But sometimes that's like a clue, for you to make a more permanent change, like on your own. Take your life by the horns, right, and do it yourself, because it's a sign for you to change your direction so that you can get into this flow. Okay. So yeah, I thought that was really funny. I was like, when I heard through other people that he was gone, or that, yeah, I think he left. This is a while ago, so I don't really remember the details, but I think he left. And um and then I thought to myself, I was like, oh my gosh, he left because of the reading that I gave him. I mean, it was a good thing, because I saw good things for him. I said, when you make this change, this other stuff is going to happen. And so he decided to he decided that resonated with him and to take action and pursue whatever his thing is, whatever he wanted to do with his life. So that was really cool, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. Okay, the Shaman's Dream Oracle. So, a lot of times people who are familiar with tarot might see the Tower card and go, oh no, the Tower card, because they might think it's a bad, energy, like something bad has to happen. It's not necessarily bad. It just talks about a change that's really different from the track that you're on, you know. So, I mean, like I said, you could decide. You could decide to just do something completely different from whatever it is that you're doing right now. And so that could be like a tower. And especially I'm seeing it's a change from whatever's not working for you to something that is going to work for you, okay? Something that you're being called to. So it's a good change. Bold step forward, the farther gate. Yep. Yep. Exactly what we're talking about. This is like the closer gate and then the farther gate. It's like going even one step farther beyond whatever it is that So say if there you've been hesitating for some reason and not taking the step to follow the call, right? That you needed something to push you to move beyond wherever you're at right now. This is it. Bold step forward. And they're telling me to go to the book. So let's see what's in the book. 55. 55, fives are about change. If you needed a little urging, a little encouragement, it's like, should I do this thing? I really want to, but should I? Yep. The next experience, legacy, evolving, bold step forward. When the farther gate card shows up, it is a clear call, right there, to lift your eyes to the horizon and begin to walk towards your future. You are marching in place right now, stirring the dust, but not getting anywhere. Trust that your forward movement, wow, forward movement. Your forward movement will lead you to a new destination you have already set for yourself, but perhaps forgotten or neglected because of your everyday busyness. Oh my gosh, this is exactly what we were talking about. The farther gate comes to tell you that an ending is at hand, so maybe that's that tower right there, and that you can leave the old behind. Let it peel away like an old skin you shed. Do not hesitate. Cross the threshold boldly, and you will be rewarded. If you continue marking time instead of moving, you will miss the opportunity. I don't feel like that's true because there are no like, oh, I missed the boat, or what's that saying? Yeah, there's always more opportunities coming. If you happen to quote miss one, or you just decide not to go on one, there's going to be another one coming. So I don't believe that that's true in the what they're saying right here. The gate is open, so you don't need to worry about that, like missing anything, because there's always going to be more. You just need to be in the right energy in order for it to show up, in order for you to see it. If you got your eyes closed, then you're not going to see any opportunities, right? You gotta have to open your eyes and like be on the lookout when you're ready, okay? But I feel like you're ready. There's something. There's an energy that's coming that can move you real easily into this direction if you will let it. So that tower is you letting it, okay? Okay, the gate is open. The next landscape of your life is within reach. But the window of time to pass through it grows shorter. Do not dally. Yeah, so that part, like, don't worry about that. There's always going to be more opportunities. Like maybe this one, if it's moving too quick. So if an opportunity shows up, right, and it says you have to take it now or forever hold your peace, right? and you dally and you're like, oh, I missed it by just a little bit, like, oh no, the window closed. If you will keep your heart open, another window will open. It may be not the same one, but something else will come along that is similar or better. Okay, so never think that something can just pass you by and then you'll just be in regret. That's not gonna happen. I mean, for those people where a window opened and then you're in regret, the reason why another opportunity didn't show up is not because it didn't show up, it's because you're now in regret and you no longer have your gate open. Does that make sense? It's like if you keep your heart open, keep your mind open, keep your eyes open for those opportunities, there's always more coming. The reason why some people might say, oh, I missed something and I never got it back, is because they never opened their eyes again. They never opened their heart again to other opportunities, because they're seeing that one that they missed, and then they're just like in that bad energy of like missing it. So you gotta keep it open, and there's more and more opportunities to come, okay? A gift of the farther gate is to bring you to the fullest expression of your gifts, perhaps for the first time. It is an invitation to a sacred passage, to a new discovery, and both great challenges and opportunities. It is not a graduation. There are no rewards other than exploration itself. You have been a farmer far too long, tilling the hard soil that now bears little fruit for you. Time to put on the explorer hat once again. I gotta read that again. It is an invitation to a sacred passage to a new discovery and both great challenges and opportunities, not a graduation. Okay. So, yeah, sometimes when I read like other people's messages, like some of it resonates for me and some of it's like, no, it's not really like that. But I just feel like this is an encouragement for you to move forward in the direction that's opening for you, and yeah, don't worry about missing out on anything. Because if this one passes you by for some reason, you're like, oh, I didn't take it, there's going to be another one. You just keep your energy open to it. There's going to be another one. Okay. All right. And so, anything else this universe wants to say? Yep. Last one. And it's from the Arboridium. And especially for this message, it's like, this is a happy red. They want to emphasize this is a good energy. So something good is coming. Something good is here for you. And you just have to take it, decide, make the decision to step forward into it and let it take you. Okay. Oh, they're saying 2 cards. Potion making. And one more. Arboridium. All right. And so this deck, they come with little stories that match up with the cards. Let's take a look at the cards first, though. Potion making. So this is like manifestation, like putting in your ingredients of what you want to cook up for your life. I'm kind of seeing like mixing of different ingredients to come up with something that's even bigger than the sum of its parts, that kind of a deal. Kind of like you'll find that whatever experiences that you've had in your life that don't seem to be related to each other, or not, don't seem to be related to this path that's coming for you, but you'll find that you'll be able to make good use of those talents and skills that you've used, that you've developed through time, through your life. That, oh, this other thing that I've been doing at, let's say the job that you didn't like, or that didn't work out for you, that there was some stuff that you did there that you can actually use those skills in this new path that you're going on. Or maybe a talent that you had when you were little or something like that. It's something that you can that will be useful, that or maybe it's related to it in some way in this new path. I feel like it's something like that. It's like it talks about creativity. And Arboridium, I believe, talks about wisdom. Let's look that up. Let's look up potion making first. Okay. Let me tell you a secret about potion making. While you may think it's a very serious business, the surprising truth is that most times it's something far more magical, fun. Some of my happiest times are spent watching other creatures experimenting in my potionery, seeing their expectant faces as they mix and pour liquids and powders, lost in the simplest of all magical processes, creation. One day, a leaning judder knocked at my door asking if she could make some potions. For a long time, she simply experimented with different combinations, pouring elaborate mixtures from bottles into jars, adding herbs and all manner of tinctures, occasionally smiling at the unexpected flashes colored smoke and magical reactions. After, I made her a bottle leaf brew as we sat by the fire. Thank you, she said, taking the steaming mug. To come here and do something different is quite sastaculous. It was my pleasure, I reassured her, and I've realized something too. Oh? She nodded. My life is rather like your potionery. How so? Everything has its proper place, just like your bottles, books, and herbs, and instead of experimenting and having fun, I've let the various elements of my life gather dust. Some I've even quite forgotten about. She sat forward, keen to make her point. But I discovered this afternoon that I can change things, make new combinations. Nothing has to be in its proper place all the time. Oh, this is like we're talking about like changing up routines, right? I nodded. It would become rather dull after a while. She finished her brew, handing me back the mug full of fresh purpose. The first thing I'm going to do is paint a wall in the brightest, most crumlish color. A sastaculous idea, I agreed. And then she smiled, eyes twinkling. And then I'm going to experiment, have fun, make changes, and see what happens. The what's the word? The community post that I posted like a couple days ago about the life purpose, it talks about this. It talks about trying new things. It's just so funny that it's like all of these energies are kind of swirling around and universe is like showing them in the different readings that I've been doing. Anyway, let's see what happens. I watched as she left, glad that magic had found a way to teach her the secret of true potion making, that sometimes the most exciting changes happen by experimenting and having fun with the things we already have in our lives rather than letting too much sit idly on a shelf. Our lives are a combination of many elements that provide countless combinations. Have fun, create, and experiment. Okay, so that message from the post that I did about life purpose, there was something that it reminded me of. I did 2 readings for 2 other people before, and they asked about career, right? And what came out for both of them was exactly what I wrote in that post about sometimes your purpose in life is not a specific thing. It's not about do this job and then do this job for 30 years and, advance to the highest that it will go. And then that's your career. Some people's careers are like a purpose. What they're being called to is to discover what you like through experimenting, or discover what you like through trying it out, through experiencing it. And as you're experiencing these different things, you gather, like we were talking about, you gather up different skills, different ingredients, different talents, right? Different experiences. And it's the collecting of, or the culmination of, like all of these things that make up your life experience that's going to be different from everybody else's. And then you get to decide, like, what do you, maybe it's like a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but it's like a little bit of happiness all along the way. And then should you decide to choose one to really, really focus on, then that's your thing. But it's about the gathering of all the different experiences. And so I feel like universe wants me to talk about that. That's why they're bringing it up again, bringing up that message from the post and into this potion making card, where it's not, because a lot of times people think like, well, it's so nice that so-and-so, oh, I just saw this reel on Instagram, this baby who's like a year and 5 months old or something like that, a baby playing the piano, like seriously playing the piano. And and So I was like, a lot of people are like, well, that's great. You've been playing the piano since you were a baby and you become a musician. And there's so many people that don't know what their thing is until later in life, or like maybe they're still struggling trying to figure out what it is, right? And it's like there's not that one thing that they've been doing since they were, since they came out of the womb already knowing how to do, right? So there's so many people that are like I don't know what to do with my life because there's not like the one thing that I'm just really really good at or that I really really like. And so for these two people that I read, it was that same thing of, well, no, it'd be, you would love it so much if I could just like pull some card and tell you, oh, you're supposed to go down this path and become, whatever, right? But that's not what life is about. It's about you living it and you making the decision. Oh, I like this. I don't like this. It's kind of like trying a bunch of stuff at a buffet and to see what you like. And because some of the stuff you never tasted before, right? Yeah, some of the stuff maybe after you taste this thing and you taste another thing, it's different from if you had tasted it the other in the other order, the other way around, like, so it kind of depends for each person. And that's why every one of our lives is so unique, right? Because we get to try and you add different ingredients into your mix, like whatever you want in your pot, right? And so say you know how to draw and you know a little bit of music, like you know a little bit of video making, and so you learn all these different things along the way, and all of a sudden you end up on YouTube doing something, like throwing together a video, and you use up all of your different skills to end up doing that, right? And so it's kind of like that. I feel like it's like enjoying your path, like whatever it is that you may be trying for right now, and then it culminating into something, it becoming something for you that makes sense, it resonates with you, and you discover it resonates with you and you discover your truth. And then like there's an energy right that's coming right now that's going to pick up on that and move you into something that makes sense. Okay. But if it's not yet making sense and you're just like, well, I'm just like a, what is it, a jack of all trades, like you just tried all these different things and you're not sure which direction to go, there's an energy that's coming that's going to move you so that your life starts to make sense. But if you're here, don't worry about it. Just enjoy what you're doing, whatever it is that you're doing. It doesn't have to be the rest of your life. You know what I mean? It's because life is not about the rest of your life. Life is about right now. Are you happy right now? And but this will kind of like move you, kind of gather everything together and move you in a direction. Okay, Arboridium. I hope that makes sense. I know it's like a jumble of different things that I talked about. Arboridium. Okay. The tree of all magical knowledge, the Arboridium is both a reflection of ourselves and the life forces of the universe we inhabit. For just as the Arboridium has deep roots, a stout trunk, and a branching crown reaching far into the sky, so it's talking about this tree right here, so we too have our own ancestral roots grounding us as we stand firm to reach our own blossoming potential. The Arboretum is our past, present, and future. Our ancestral past roots us in wisdom and experience. We ourselves are the trunk, strong and multi-layered, the conduit between past and future. The crown embraces our far-reaching potential. These three parts of ourselves form our own magical trinity. Each is dependent on the other. Each serves the other two. All three combine to make us who we are. Thus we are at once grounded, yet free to find our own branching pathways into the future. We are all Arboretum. We are all connected. So a lot of times when people talk about ancestry, I don't interpret it as just like physical DNA ancestry, like ethnic kind of ancestry. I kind of think of it as like spiritual ancestry, because if you think about your spirit, your ancestors as spirit, it's whatever energy, spiritual energy that you're coming from. So like before we were all born, we were and still are spiritual spirit consciousness, right? And there may be certain intentions that we set, like we have like soul families, like certain energies. So say like Abraham talks about like they come from an energy consciousness of teachers, right? So say Abraham, Jesus Christ, you call like Christ consciousness. All of the other spiritual teachers like Seth and all those other ones, they're from the same energy source. And then then we have like Esther and Jerry Hicks who translate for Abraham, right? Those are the physical humans. And then you had like Jane Roberts that translated for Seth. So the physical humans are different people, but the energy that they came from the same energy source in the non-physical. Okay, so when we're talking about like ancestry and the roots, I feel like we're not just talking about like who were your grandparents or great grandparents like physically. I feel like it's where the energy that you're coming from, like what's the source energy that you're coming from. And then so here's your physical human that you're translating the energy that you're coming from. Okay, so say if the energy that you're coming from was like some music, like Beethoven, like whatever his energy was, like maybe you come into this earth and you have a fascination with like classical music or something like that, right? So maybe you come from the same energy as Beethoven. You like that's the kind of ancestry that I'm kind of seeing here. Okay. The Arboridium always reaches out to find us. Sometimes it is in the smallest, most unexpected moments and unexplained feelings, pulling our minds from the everyday. Oh, again, talking about like, this is talking about that serendipity that we were talking about, or that quieting the outside so that you can hear the call from the inside. Pulling our minds from the everyday, and sometimes through our dreams when we wake, knowing one of its many leaves has somehow brushed against us in the night to fill us with fresh hope. The Arboridium is nature's own magic. It seeks you out as reliable and mysterious as the governance of the four seasons that bring blossom, buds, leaves, and bounty throughout the seasons of our own lives too. The Arboridium first came to me in a book that even now constantly rewrites itself, recording many instances and encounters in my own life that might otherwise have passed quite unremarked. Is it unremarked or unremarked? Okay, I don't know. And as I flick through the pages, I see the connections, understanding the lessons of each and how they constantly inform the whole. The reason the Arboridium stands so rooted, strong, and tall is that you do too, at all times, regardless of circumstance or how you're feeling. Look for the moments, isolated incidents that make you wonder, smile, or briefly take you from the clutterbust chaos of the world, and know the Arboridium is always there for you. For as creatures of a natural, magical world, we are as connected to the Arboridium as we also are to each other. The true magic of nature will never be fully explained, nor does it ever need to be. We simply have to live alongside and immerse ourselves in its many spectacular wonders. In this way, we all stand rooted in the truth of our past, forever reaching towards the full magical potential of our futures. Stand strong and tall and know that you are Arboridium. I feel like this is talking about understanding the connection of yourself. So it goes really well with this harmony card where we're saying you being in harmony with your source energy, with your spirit. So it's like you going about your life, but always understanding that you come from somewhere. You are connected to your spirit, and then, and like, this is your future, this is your present time, and this is your, not past, but just like where you're coming from, right? And this place that you come from, the non-physical, and you, it's kind of all it's all now. It's all happening right now. Like, as you are human, you are also spiritual energy at the same time. So there's a part of you, a bigger part of you, that's in the non-physical realm existing right now. And so you, the human, we're just going to use the two figures here to represent. So you, the human, and you, the source energy, together, and then creating your life, creating your future together. And it's an understanding of the wholeness, the fullness of you, and that you're not just human. You're not just a human being that's disconnected and not knowing everything. You're connected. You're connected, the truth of you, right? You're connected, and that this, your spirit calls you to things and moves you through life with you. And it's about, like, when you're disconnected is when you don't know, like when you don't know who you are. But I feel like this is talking about, there's a, either you're in it right now, or it's coming up. There's an energy that's coming, that's going to connect you to the whole of you, to the all of you, and you're going to feel the call, and you're going to move forward in your life. So here's your future, where you're moving forward to. But this connection is coming, and it's going to make sense of all of the things that you've been doing in your life, because everything in your life that you've been doing up to this point, if it's felt scattered in some kind of way, where nothing, this part of your life and that part of your life didn't feel related or connected to each other, there's going to come a moment when you realize, like, oh, it all makes sense now. Everything's in harmony. Everything, your life is going to make sense. The truth of you. Okay. All right. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. I hope I explained it in a way that makes sense with English words. Because sometimes it's hard. It's like the different pieces of the reading coming together. It's exactly what we're talking about. Like the different pieces, like how is it cohesive? How is it coming together to make sense as a whole? But now that we're at the end of it, I understand what just happened. But I'm hoping that the words that I spoke throughout this reading communicated to you what this whole thing is talking about. I hope it did. I'm gonna listen back. I'm gonna go back and edit and hope that this whatever I said made sense. But there you go. All right, but it's a good happy energy and good happy message, and I'm glad to be the one delivering it to you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.